obviously we had a lot of undefeated ones, and like the old saying, one of their O's had to go. And it was all great fights. I mean, I can tell you this bantamweight fight was to me so far the fight of the night. Even though we're only 3 fights in, and that Ezra kid that started off the night, impressed me, extremely impressed me. I mean, the kid looked like he was a lightweight by the time he got in the octagon. But I've been hearing a lot about him. O'Malley is a big supporter of him, and I've heard a lot about him from O'Malley, and he definitely delivered tonight.
Absolutely, he is definitely a prospect to keep an eye on. But as far as that goes, I almost feel bad for your matchmakers because, again, bantamweight feels like such a tough division to service. There's so many. I know LFA's been doing it forever, even with the women, dating back to, Holly Holm. But Ed, obviously, you've been around, man. And remember the days where it was almost hard to find a venue for these lighter weight classes, and now you guys here at LFA, you guys have been serving them out for, at least a decade now at the top level.
Yeah, I feel that, the divisions from 135 to 170, even 125 to 170, there's just a tremendous amount of talent. I think that, as you can see, I mean, really, not only us, but Sean Shelby has his hands full from the 135 pound to 170 pounds. There's just so much talent in all those weight divisions, and I feel that a lot of these guys, like a guy like Ezra, and even these guys that just fought right now, both of these guys, they look like they could compete at the UFC, but they really need to get their miles in and get their rounds in organizations like the LFA to really prepare them for when they do step up to the UFC, they have the experience.
And you guys do a terrific job of that, obviously. But speaking of these events, these big events, and for them to get experience, a lot of the fans, industry, and all alike, I think we're all on the same page. We love it when you pair it up with a big UFC event, Fight Week here in town for Las Vegas. Do we have any more plans that you can share with us this year, whether it be Summer International Fight Week, anything you have eyes on, or perhaps later in the year coming back to Vegas?
I don't know about International Fight Week. That was our plan to do something in International Fight Week, but I mean, that's our goal also, to kind of, back it up and stack it on the same nights that the UFC has, especially in Vegas. I feel the Palms is a great partner. Now it's our second show here at the Palms, and we're definitely looking forward to having other events here at the Palms in Las Vegas. I just don't have dates on when those will be yet.
Fantastic. Just a quick one, unrelated to this card, but you're talking about all the bantamweights out there. Do you ever run into bantamweights that are maybe more hesitant to take fights against fellow undefeated guys because they really value that like you were saying, because it looks a lot better if they go into the Contender Series or signed by the UFC undefeated? Have you ever run into pushback from bantamweights or any?
Not only bantamweights, I mean, we get pushback from in every division. People are very wanting to protect their record, but I really feel in the LFA, you don't really lose in the LFA. I think you either win or you learn. I don't really think you lose, because even the guys that lost here tonight, they're going to come back better, more experienced fighters than when they walked in the octagon with no losses. So I don't really feel that you lose in the LFA. I think you either win or you learn.
Sure. Appreciate it.
Just want a quick thoughts on Alex Perrin this weekend, and what would a win over Magomed do for his legacy, his career, and watching him run?
I think we're always behind every single LFA alumni that goes out there and fights, and I think a win over Magomedov is going to prove to the world that everyone just knows him as a striker. But the funny thing is that Magomedov is not. Ankalaev is not a wrestler. I mean, he's probably a better striker than he is a wrestler. So it's interesting, but yes, he definitely has that in his arsenal. But I think to the fans that are out there, I think it'll answer a lot of questions. But I feel very confident that Pereira is going to do what he always does and finish the fight.
Ed, could you talk about how the LFA is the right platform for these specialists, so to say, transitioning over, say as Alex, say as Via, that your platform has been the one to kick off their MMA careers?
I definitely feel that the LFA is that. I mean, and it's not just my opinion. The stats and the facts show it. That's why almost 40% of the UFC roster are LFA alumni. We are the #1 developmental organization in the world. There is no opinion about that. Factually, look at the stats. We we are, and we just want to continue to keep doing that.
Ryan constantly reminds me that I've been coming to LFA shows since you guys were RFA.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be in this place, second event here in Vegas, how big it is, and 40% of the fighters on the UFC roster have come through this cage?
It means the world to me. This is what we set out to do back in 2012 with the RFA. Then when we merged with Legacy, we proved to the world that we are creating the #1 developmental organization in the world. And now I'm happy to say that we are, and we're only getting better.
And I'm sure you don't want to shortchange any of the upcoming events, but is there anything particular on the calendar that's sticking out to you?
You know what? We're breaking into so many new markets. Our next show is in Connecticut, which we've never done a show there. And the show after that, we've been doing shows in Brazil, as everyone knows, but we're going to be going to Brasilia for our first show. So, I'm really excited about this year and our future. I mean, we just keep producing on great shows. We produce great shows and produce great athletes, and that's the goal. Is just to keep developing these athletes and keep pushing them up to the UFC.
Thank you.
Last one for me, Ed. Speaking of future, I love this venue. Obviously, the UFC used to have fight nights here, as you're well aware. Last time I was here was Ronda Rousey submitting Sarah D'Alio at Strikeforce Challengers 18. Is this a venue that you're going to look to keep coming back to? It's good for nostalgia reasons at least, but do you like this venue here for LFA?
I love this venue. I think everything about it. I mean, the first time around, there were some different people in the management here, and now I think we've really aligned with them. And on top of that, the back of the house stuff is really important to really be working with a venue that works with us as partners, and they do. And this show has been going great. This show, everything ran really smooth, and of course, this is, to me, I would love to have this to be our home in Vegas.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the time and having us, Ed.
Thank you guys, man. Thank you for covering us.
Appreciate that, Ed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.